Well, it's Thursday the 8th of June. I've been away for a couple of days, so I haven't seen the plants. A little bit behind in putting the canes in, which will be done certainly this week. But I just thought I'd show you the plants that were first stopped last week. We're now a week on, and you can see the sort of growth that they can make in that time. Now obviously some of these already had young shoots already in the leaf axils, but it doesn't take long for these sort of shoots to develop, and generally they all are. They get away at varying rates, it seems, but they're all shooting out, and it's a case now of continuing to feed the plants for me. Just about to do another feed and build these shoots as strong as I can, so that when I'm doing a second stop or the final stop to take them to flowering, that I'm stopping strong size shoots. Now if they start to produce more than I'd hope, so really I'm only sort of looking for 6 on this plant. At this stage I would then actually remove them. I mean, this one has just got the 6. But I don't really want more than that. There's no need. I'm going to get at least 2 for 1 when I stop them a second time. So just keeping an eye out for that, keeping the feeds going in. 2 weeks in the ground. I'll show you a few other plants at the stages that they're at now, but you'll see that the roots are getting out, they're hitting the base dressing, and the additional feeds aren't really causing them any problems either. Probably another week I will then start stepping up the volumes once I know the roots are securely out and about, and I'm not going to start sort of overwatering then. This is a plant of BJ Beauty. As I said, they get away at varying rates, but really these plants are fairly large hands. Putting the shoulders out, they're getting some width on them. These were fairly young plants when they went in, and you can see that the growth just coming away now in the centres. Some of these I've left that were smaller plants to grow on a single stop, but it doesn't seem to be bothering them at all, and they soon get away. I think plants grow quicker than we ever expect them to. And it's having that confidence when you're chopping the tops out of them that's going to be the case. Hillcrest Candy, this is one that I chose to leave the growing tip in, but really probably should have took it out. There's some side shoots coming there, they're going to come anyway. I haven't grown this one before, so I'm going to leave a few with the first tip in and see what happens, see if I can hold them back. If push comes to shove, when you go to do the first stop on this plant, but the final stop on these plants, if the side shoots are developed, then you can always just chop the plant back to those and stop the side shoots anyway. There's no point in taking this tip out and leaving a sort of 6-inch shoot in the side and expect to have a flower at the end of August, compared to one over there that has been stopped. You can see it's really sort of pushing out. And it's that sort of advantage I'm looking for. There's the bed of the plants. Some varieties are really getting away stronger than others. Some bigger plants of candy there. These were stopped in the pots purely because they produced a crown bud, and there was no value in leaving that in. I was short for plants, so I had to use them, but you can see that they've really starting to branch out, and now they've come into the ground. Again, doesn't really matter. I just want a strong plant that I can get that last stop into. The Canora Jubilee, always a strong plant, and they're really growing nice and strong now. This is Trooper Dan, and we'll get it right by the end of the season. And again, you can see there, it's one of these plants that seems to naturally want to break. It took the tip out and the shoots were already there, and it seems to be a very strong grower. I'm going to grow it on a double stop, trying to bring the size down anyway, but it'll be interesting because this is one that is potentially a large or a giant. I'm growing these 10 as a large for the Silver Hill. We shall see what happens. And over there at the Valentine, again, some stopped, some not. Some particularly chunky plants over the back there that haven't had a first stop, and we'll see what happens with those. You would have seen me a few weeks ago give these, the Willow's Violet, a second stop. They will soon get a third stop, but it's just to show again, from that stop, you can see, I moved that leaf, that was where they were stopped. We've got some sensible shoots coming from them, and quite a few of them. So that third stop's really going to put the numbers on them as far as branching out. And in comparison, you go at the Twilight there, which has only had the one stop, and it's obviously a much earlier flower and a much smaller flower, so we don't want such a big plant. We've got a bed of 40 of those running up there. And so these are the Willow's Violet running down. I tend to be quite religious about stopping these and that so many pairs of leaves, and it just keeps a continuity throughout the variety. I've been known to grow a pom or two in my time, and I don't think I'm too far wrong. But that's the stage mine are at now. In probably another week's time I shall stop these again, which should be the last stop. They will produce some buds early. I don't tend to let them flower, I'll knock them back, but for me that's about the right sort of timing and the right stage of plant. So we're going to feed again. I just thought I'll show you something that I use to save a bit of time and certainly legwork. We've got the butt, or the wheelie bin, full of feed, and this will still at the moment do about 2 beds. The hose isn't running from the mains. I've got my sump pump, or it's a hose lock pump, works quite well, and it has a standard hose fitting on it, and it pushes it out about the speed I get from the mains, and it just means I can just take this hose, go down the path to a count, so I know that each plant's getting the same amount, and just pump the feed straight out of these barrels onto the plants. Probably another week or so, then I'll start doing this through the irrigation. At the moment I'm sure the roots aren't fully out and about, and I would think a fair amount of that food's going to go to waste by not getting to the plant. But another week or so, then I'm sure it will, and then I'll just connect straight in. Hopefully there's enough pressure in the pump to run it. I haven't tested it yet, but that'll be the aim. This is a plant, the Canora Challenger, one of those that we were stopping last week, and you can see again, there's a stop. The shoots are well away, and also it certainly pushes down the plant to the stronger ones from the base running up there. If I get too many of these, all I'll do is actually start removing the ones from the top down, and these shoots become the ones that receive the final stop. And I was questioned why I use straw as a mulch, and that will be a thing I'm looking to do in the next week or so, opposed to growing through fabric or any other alternative. When I'm straw mulch, the straw mulch will come easily to the height of the plant as it is now, 6 to 8 inches deep, and obviously the blatant things there are, you want to keep the moisture in the ground and restrict the weeds. I don't suffer with weeds generally. The plot's a clean plot. I haven't hoed, I haven't done anything to the soil since I planted. There's no real growth of weeds there at all. The key factor for me is keeping the ground cool. It's putting a layer between the air temperature and the soil temperature, and I can really cool it down quite a few degrees. And it's in a way of trying to compete with the north. If the ground's cooler and the plant's opening slower, I might get a day or so on the opening of a bloom, and get a little bit more weight into the bloom and a bit more refinement and form. So the main reason to using straw is I don't believe fabric will give me that same cooling effect as what straw will, and it gets dug in at the end of the year. It's only going to add to the soil. It may leach a bit of nitrogen out, but as you know, I'm feeding anyway from day one, and to me the soil is just a base to grow roots in. The foods that is in there pretty irrelevant because I'm adding those myself. So I hope that gives a little bit more thought to which way to go with mulching. I certainly wouldn't say don't mulch. I think wherever you are, it's of an advantage. What you use is entirely up to you. Now, just as a bit of a proof of indecision, these are Oakwood Goldcrest that I've already removed the growing tip. This was done last week. Plants are quite a bit larger. Now this is one that I decided I'd probably leave alone and hold on to it and just do it on a single stop because I didn't think the plant was big enough. The problem with indecision is it normally bites you in the bum, and there is a flower bud, so that plant is now anyway going to be producing the side shoots. So I'll have to take those off, so I will go through on all the others and do the same. I'd rather promote them early and get some beef into them than let them come on their own naturally and have a couple of weeks less selective growth, as I might call it. So got to go with these things. If you think it's probably the right thing to do, just do it, and you won't be far wrong. You can see the irrigation dripping there. It's me testing the pump on the irrigation system, and it seems to work perfectly fine. So it's going to save me a few more hours. I know the quantities I normally feed, and at the moment one of those 250 litre drums is going between 100 plants, so it's 2.5 litres a plant of high nitrogen food. And probably from about next week onwards, once I feel the plants are really getting away strong, I'll step that up to being a drum per bed, so 5 litres per plant. That will reduce the amount of additional water I put into the ground, because you know the Dahlias are not sort of water lilies or aquatic plants, and they will suffer if you give them too much water. So proof of the irrigation system working is good. That's going to save me a lot of time, and I can now get on with pushing in some canes. I've decided to write off with a bit of wastage on the food to getting jobs done is worth having. It's a bit of a short week this week, not a lot going on. The plants are just getting away. Just remember, if you've got any questions or you want to see any particular varieties what I'm doing now and in the future on them, to give you a bit of a heads up as your plants grow, just let me know. Leave a message on the channel, and I'll try to incorporate it in the next video. Hopefully week's time you'll see a lot more growth on these plants. The canes will be in, and I should have located and got the straw here ready to start putting down. In the meantime, I shall give the plants another spray for aphids and earwigs, and hopefully just keep on top of the plant health. See you next time.